Hello, everybody! Woohoo! I'm always so excited when I come into the radio show. I apologize if I'm too loud when we go straight off the bat. But welcome to the next installment of Chatter About the Chatter. I'm Cuddy Cudworth, your host. Monkey Mind Relaxation is my fabulous company, and I am absolutely over the moon to be able to host this radio show at Men's Radio Station. And if you've just tuned into this one and you're thinking, oh, I would like to tune into some other radio stations, look, there is so much great content at this radio station with all of the other hosts that we have, and especially with the Daily Show with Russ as well. So please tune into that. How is everybody? You are more than welcome to write in the comments, ask us any questions. This is an open question and answer. We have got two fabulous guests on today because we're trying to give you some variety and giving you different options of how you can change those emotions, manifest those emotions, and reaching out to people as well. There's such a big thing right now that we're trying to get out the awareness of. There is somebody you can talk to. If it's not going to be me, if it's not going to be somebody else at the radio show, if it's not going to be one of those family members, we want to make sure that you have that avenue to be able to talk to someone, especially at this time of year. So we've got two cracking guests going to be coming up today. First of all is going to be Lesley Ford from Phoenix Holistic Coaching. You're going to be able to have a chat with her very, very shortly, but not just yet. We've also got Tony Gordon coming in all the way from East Kilbride, just at the other side of Scotland for us. He's also going to be talking about his fabulous company, what he does, and giving you the options to be able to reach out to Tony as well, especially this time of year. Now, I know we did a couple of shows earlier. We were talking about how suicide is the biggest killer of men under 45 at this moment in time. And it's something that we should be talking about because you don't have to go that far. There's always that avenue. One man in every 2 hours actually commits suicide. And at this time of year, the stresses of Christmas, the pressures that we get put under from social media and expectations of others can be absolutely demoralizing to your mental and emotional health. And we'll touch on emotional health there as well, because challenging that cognitive bias that we have, we always like to make sure that we're talking about depression as an emotional health challenge. Yes, it's mental health, and we want to keep you mentally healthy as well, but it definitely falls under the banner of emotional health. Depression is that state that we get into once we don't get on top of our thoughts. It's always going to be thoughts orientated, which is why I always come from a place of change your thoughts, change your life. Change how you think, you will change how you feel. And now I know 2 weeks ago we talked about the anatomy of emotion and how we can change that anatomy of the emotion by looking at the 4 parts that creates that emotion that we can find ourselves out in. And I will always come from a place of experience of being there, being down that dark spiral, that negative spiral on the way down, and it can be quite hard to ask for help. And that is going to be the subject that we're going to be talking about today, is why is it so hard to ask for help? And we're going to be discussing that with our second guest. However, the first guest that we have coming up today is, and we're going to have a good old chat, not just about homeopathy. I've probably not said that right. In any way. Homeopathy. Is that right? Homeopathy. Not only, I had this lovely lady on one of my podcasts a long time ago, but they're going to come in today and we're going to talk about homeopathy and some natural remedies that are going to be able to get you calmer at Christmas. I always come from a place of meditation, but if meditation is not your thing, there's other ways to do it. So, Sina, let's welcome into the show our first guest today. We're going to have a good old chat about how to keep yourself nice and calm and refreshed over the Christmas period. Let's welcome Lesley Ford, everybody. Lesley Ford.
Hello. Hi, Cuddy.
How are you, Lesley?
I'm great, thank you. Sorry, I was giggling backstage. I didn't really mean to. It's homeopathy.
Right. I knew I'd said it wrong. I knew I would have said it wrong. All right. So I love the Christmas tree in the background, first of all.
Well, I did that just for you. You know,
and it's a blue Christmas tree, I see.
It's gold and silver this year. I've gone up market. Yeah, it's the lights look blue, don't they, at the moment? But
they do look blue. And that's gold and silver, is it?
It's bluey white, maybe. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. So how are you keeping, Lesley? Before we
I'm
get
very
into
well.
homeopathy, I've probably said that wrong again.
Say it again, Cuddy. Go on, say it again.
Homeopathy?
Homeopathy.
Homeopathy.
Yes.
Thank you so much for
You're
correcting me
welcome.
there. Correcting me so politely as well. So welcome to the show. I'm looking into the comments just to see if anybody is tuning in right now because we get those questions going as well. Right. So Lesley, talk to me about your company, what you represent, and how you can get to help out people.
Okay, so thank you for inviting me today, Cuddy, and it was a pleasure to come on here with you and Men's Radio Station. My company is called Phoenix Holistic Health UK Limited,
Right.
and I help people. I'm a confidence coach, and I also have law of attraction and I'm a postgraduate homeopath as well. So I've got a few strings to my bow, and can help people with all sorts of things, especially with the homeopathy, because homeopathy is a great medicine that not only can deal with chronic conditions like depression, sad thoughts, and things like that, and where that can take you, but it's also good for acute situations as well. And so today I thought it would be quite nice to come on and spread a bit of knowledge about when you get maybe overburdened at Christmas, or how to help if you've got a hangover, or you've overeaten, or children's temper tantrums and things, and what remedies that can help you out in those situations. So if nobody knows what homeopathy is, actually it's been around a very long time, even before conventional medicine. So it was first described by Hippocrates in over 2,500 years ago. So, and it's evolved today, and it initially was reinvented, if you like, by a German doctor called Dr. Samuel Hahnemann.
Right.
And the word homeopathy comes from the Greek word, which means similar suffering. So basically, what can make you better is the thing that made you ill, but in a different frequency and different vibration. So it's a vibrational medicine. And there's been lots of research on water and how water retains memory of things and substances and things, and that is really how homeopathy works. So it works on the memory that water has and how many times it's expanded its memory, if you like. And so when we're dealing with the emotional realm, and I liked, by the way you described mental health as being more emotional health, because that's the way I like to describe it as well. So homeopathy can work in the emotional realms in a much higher frequency on things, and I've seen so many great transformations. It's a beautiful and very gentle style of medicine. It's not for everybody, but that's choice at the end of the day.
I have a question, Lesley, because I think what you're missing out on is one of the biggest parts of the story of how you got into homeopathy. And it's something I want to touch on, because I love the fact you're going to talk about hangover cures, overeating, and if you've got kids, that's absolutely fantastic. I just want to say hi to Veronica as well. She's just joined in.
Hello,
so
Veronica.
has Jane. Jane's
hi, Jane.
in as well. Yeah. So now you have to... And I know your story, but there's going to be some people, especially Veronica, that's maybe not going to know your story. But how was it that you got into homeopathy? What was it that worked for you?
Okay, so quite a long time ago now, 30 years ago, really, I became very ill with chronic fatigue syndrome, or ME, myalgic encephalomyelitis. I bet you can't say that one.
No, I can't say homeopathy, so I'm not going to be able to say that, am I?
So basically, it's chronic fatigue, and a lot of people are suffering from that right now with a thing called long COVID.
That's what I was going to ask you.
It's a very similar kind of thing. And I ended up in a wheelchair for 2 years. So I was ill for 9 years, total of 9 years, and 2 of those years was in a wheelchair for when we used to go out, what I used to call posh shopping, when you went out for the day shopping, because I just didn't have the energy to walk about all day. And I went to the GP, and all he wanted to prescribe for me, unfortunately, was antidepressants, and I didn't see that as my something that I needed at that time. And so it ended pushing me down a route of trying to find out about other alternative medicines. And I ended up seeing a homeopath who got me better. And then I decided I'd do a small course for the children to keep them out of the doctor's surgery. And that didn't go well because I couldn't find anything. So I ended up having to train to become a homeopath for 4 years. And then I did my postgraduate for 2 years.
Nice. Absolutely fantastic.
So that's the story.
Now, I like the fact that you're talking about ME, and I think the chronic fatigue is very similar to long COVID, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
And I really want us to touch on that because I've got friends struggling with long COVID, and I keep saying you've got to go and see Lesley Ford. You've got to go and see Lesley Ford. I do. There's one guy I keep telling him all the time, you've got to go and see Lesley Ford. You've got to go and see Lesley Ford because I know she can help with long COVID.
Those mantras are working, aren't they?
I'm always rooting for you. I am always rooting for you. So, I know that's sidebarring a little bit on the long COVID there, but talk to me about especially the overeating. So, how can homeopathy, and I think what I find fascinating is the memory of water. I love that story of the memory of the water and how that to me is fascinating. I love learning about different things that maybe a lot of people would say that's woohoo. I'm like, no, do you know what? Woo works.
Absolutely. Water's got a fantastic memory and it's scientific. I mean, you know, just because they haven't proven with the scientific research, the way they like to do scientific research, they haven't quite been able to prove how it works because it's so individual. It's a bespoke service. You see a homeopath and they take your whole case. It's what makes you an individual. So, you know, and the thing is, like with colds, like just say, for instance, COVID, somebody can be suffering with aches and pains and just has to sleep all day. Another person can be really runny nose, runny eyes, bad throat, the same virus, but different symptoms. And so they'd need a different remedy. And that's why homeopathy is so brilliant in how you direct the remedy at the client. So it's more a bespoke thing, really. And so you can't really say one size fits all with something like long COVID, because it would need a constitutional appointment, which is your all well-being kind of a remedy. But the thing I want you to discuss today is for acute. So everybody can take these.
Right, good.
So it's you know, these are classic symptoms of, if you feel like this is the remedy.
Nice.
So that's nice and easy. And I have done a handout, so it's on my website for you to download if you want it. So it's on the homeopathy.
Where's the website?
Page.
What's the website?
It's phoenix-hh.co.uk.
Very nice. Oh, Jane Sanford's put it into the. Have you got a little assistant? Have you got a little assistant on the side? Everyone needs a Jane Sanford. Everybody.
They do. Bless her. Thank you, Jane.
Okay, so it's in the comments there, so that'll pop up. That's absolutely fantastic.
Brilliant. And remedies come in all shapes and sizes as well. So they can come in really tiny tablets. You think that can't absolutely do anything for me. Don't underestimate the power of the tablet. It's not all about the size, as they say. So it's very powerful. Why did you look at me when you said that? Very powerful stuff.
I took that quite personal, if you don't mind.
So before I forget, the water, the memory of water is Dr. Benavista. He was a French doctor years and years ago. He did a lot of research on this, and he defrosted snowflakes and then refroze them and realized that they've actually gone back together exactly the same as they were before they defrosted.
Hang on.
So water held the memory.
Love that. So you're saying he defrosted a snowflake, could see
so he looked at a snowflake under a microscope and saw all the particles and everything, defrosted it into water, then refroze it, and it froze in exactly the same constitutes.
To the same shape? Wow.
So this is how it ended up with the big study into water and what does water do. Water's like a carrier. You know, so we have carrier oils, don't we, in aromatherapy and things like that. Water is really like a carrier.
Wow. That's blown my mind. That has blown my mind. I did not know that, Lesley. Right, Veronica's just said, as a sufferer, so Veronica is a sufferer, and she sends anyone who struggles with long COVID to look at chronic fatigue ME because it's a mirror image. Thank you, Veronica.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's what I said earlier. Yeah, it's absolutely nice. Veronica. It's they've just put a new name on it. unfortunately, for those people that are suffering. It's not a laughing matter. But yeah, there is help out there. And you know, the thing is, long COVID is a problem now.
Yeah, absolutely. So, talk to us about your what you've got for us planned today, which is the bloating at Christmas, kids to calm them down, and all those other fun things.
Okay.
It's a hangover one. I'm sure everyone's listening right now.
Oh, they're waiting for that one, I bet. So, starting with overeating, then I'll crack on. So, overeating can be a big problem at Christmas because we're having lots of high-fat foods and alcohol intake, and it's a complete strain on the body because we just like shoving it in because it's like, oh, all this lovely scrummy food. So I've picked 3 top remedies that can help you. So the first one is Carbo Vegetabilis. So they're all Latin names.
Stop right there. Stop right there. Carbo.
It's all on the handout.
I don't care. Carbo. I want the information. I'm not looking at a handout. I want it from you, Lesley. Carbo veg,
carbo veg for short. Okay.
Carbo veg, but a carbo veg for the bloated.
Carbo veg, yeah. Think of cabbage or something. So that's from too much rich food. Okay. I gave this to my husband the other day because he was really bloated and we were going out for another meal and he hadn't got over the meal from the day before. So I said, I know what'll fix you.
Brilliant. Can I ask a question? Rich food, anybody who suffers with gout, would that be?
Gout is the next remedy.
Is it really?
Yeah, that will help with gout. But carbo veg is from too much rich food. Right. You're better for belching, and you want your face fanned like this. They want cold air on their face. These are the peculiarities of homeopathy. But this is how you know you need the remedy. So your abdomen will be really distended. You know, a bit pregnant.
You are using some big words, Lesley.
And
distended. My belly is distended on a daily basis. I think I need some carbo veg.
Absolutely. Especially if you've got a lot of gas.
And where can we get these?
You can get them in a little kit like this that I sell on the website. But these have got the handout is based on this kit really. So this kit's got 18 remedies in.
Wow! Oh my God, I love that.
So you see how tiny the let me show you how tiny the pillules are. Let's see if I can get some out. So I don't know if you can see how tiny they are.
Wow!
You only need one of those, and you can put it in a bottle of water, and that will make it last even longer. And it comes with a handy booklet to tell you what to take. So you look up bloated stomach or something, and it'll tell you what the remedies are, and it'll tell you what you'll be feeling if you need that remedy. Nice. So it's very helpful, yeah.
Love that.
So the second remedy is Nux Vomica, which is a really useful remedy to use over Christmas. So, because for all sorts of reasons. And the Nux Vomica can, if you're like an executive or you've been really go all before Christmas, which is, you know, how a lot of people are, and they get all stressed and they end up taking more stimulants just to keep going. So coffee, smoking, maybe drugs, alcohol, that kind of thing as well.
Yeah.
Nux Vomica is the remedy to calm you right down.
Ooh.
But also for overeating, Nux Vomica is very good. For indigestion.
Right.
No, it's for indigestion.
Right.
And you may get a hiccup after overeating. So some people get the hiccups after overeating. If you take some Nux Vomica, you take 1 tablet under the tongue. We don't swallow homeopathy. We just let it dissolve under the tongue, and then it gets into the epithelial cells a lot quicker. So the stomach can feel like it's got a heavy knot or a stone weighing in it as well, if you need Nux Vomica.
I think I'm going to be purchasing a pack. I'm not going to lie.
Pulsatilla is the third remedy, which is for overindulgence in high-fat, creamy foods. So pulsatilla is for like when you've had lots of cream, you've had like an overdose of rich foods. Pork as well. So anything in high-fat content, pastries, anything like that, and the stomach feels really heavy and bloated. So if you've had lots of cream, especially, or pork, and you're feeling really out of sorts afterwards, consider taking some pulsatilla, which is in the kit.
So, right. I love that.
Yeah, so I'm just wary of the time, and I know Tony's got
No,
to come in.
we got plenty of time. We got plenty of time.
Headaches? Do you want to know about headaches or not headaches?
Well, I think there's the drinking for everybody at Christmas. Yes, I think that would be a good one too.
The drinking is one main remedy, which is the remedy we've just discussed, which is Nux Vomica. So Nux Vomica is the poison nut. It's the remedy for the poison nut, and if you take a tablet under the tongue before you go to bed, if you can remember, but obviously if you're a bit inebriated, you might not. But if you can try and drink a glass of water before you go to bed, if you've had a few too many, that's also really good for the liver. So Nux Vomica works on the liver predominantly. It's a liver remedy. And what it will do is work through all that alcohol content. And if you take it before you go to bed, it will work overnight and you'll get up the next morning and it will be like you don't have a hangover.
Yeah.
If, however, you forget, if you can try and take some water, if not, okay, get up in the morning and take a Nux Vomica under the tongue and it will work. Instead of you being hungover until maybe mid-afternoon, it should clear mid-morning for you.
Nice.
Because it speeds up the whole process.
Wow.
So, yeah. So Nux Vomica is always a great one to have around.
Perfect. Now.
Yeah, and also if you're constipated as well, it's good for that.
Oh, throwing in a little constipation
little
resolve as well, especially this time of year. Right. So what about you also said about something for de-stressing when you've got kids at Christmas. Is that right?
Yeah. So if you're overextended, and stressing out, you want everything perfect for Christmas. You're getting worn out with the amount of energy you're putting into everything. Getting niggly with people because they don't seem to have the same attitude as you. There's 3 remedies that I've picked. First one being a remedy called Arsenicum album, which comes from the oxide of arsenic. Now, there's no arsenic in the remedy, so you don't have to worry about that.
So you're not condoning giving arsenic to children then?
No. No. But with Arsenicum album, everything has to be perfect. They're a list maker. They like all the coordination. Everything has to be in a slotted place. You know, you lay the table, everything has to be like an inch apart, that kind of perfectionism.
Right.
And if, you know, you're doing up your Christmas presents and it's all pretty bows and, you know, and they wear themselves out by being such a perfectionist. So they kind of can't help themselves. If they were just to sort of chill out a bit more and just go with the flow a bit, what a dose of arsenicum does is it just allows them to actually step back and go, actually, it's not that important if it's like 3 inches away rather than an inch away.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fascinating.
So the next remedy, again, is our friend Nux Vomica. So the Mr. Nux Vomica or Mrs. Nux Vomica is a workaholic. So they're workaholics and they can be angry as well, and very irritable. And because they've got a lot of work on, and quite often the case is when you've been working like that before Christmas, you can end up going down with a cold at Christmas because you've been working flat out and your immune system has been asking you to take it down a peg or two.
Every year. You
haven't listened to your body. And when you do actually stop at Christmas, the body thinks, great, time out. I'll have a bit of that, thanks. And it thinks, right, well, I've been asking for you to take some time off for a while. I'm going to make sure you do have this time off right now. And I'm going to make sure you rest. So I'm going to give you a cold. All right.
Yes.
And that's what happens to lots and lots of people.
Yes. It used to always happen to my dad. And it used to always, whenever I used to come home from my contracts, because it was 4 months full on, that first 2 weeks when I came home, I was always ill. I just dropped ill because it's like, now you need to relax.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just giving yourself that time. And the thing is also, if we listened to that beforehand and took some steps to actually just adhering to our emotional health more, like starting a meditation in the morning or evening, or go out for a walk and put a mindfulness app on or something, and just be able to calm down and de-stress in the body, your body will thank you for that. Because then you will be able to enjoy your Christmas period so much more because you won't be ill. And just those few little steps of just allowing yourself to breathe and to just relax and de-stress and just take some of that stuff off the shoulders there, is just, you can't put a price on it, because
It's true.
it's just gold. It's just gold, you know.
It's true. Yeah. Absolutely fantastic. Now, Lenka's just said, think what is happening with me, stressed before Christmas. Lenka, I'm sure you are stressed at Christmas. We put a lot of pressure on ourselves. Look, if anybody's got any questions, you are more than welcome to post them in the comments for Lesley while Lesley's here for the next few minutes. I'm going to keep her talking for a few more minutes. So please.
Okay, let me move on to the third remedy then for
Yes.
overextending yourself. And this is a wonderful remedy for ladies, really. So apologies, men. But ladies, if you are overextending yourself and you're really niggly with your other half, feel like you're being taken for granted, and feel like you're a bit of a doormat, your remedy is sepia from the cuttlefish.
Oh, wow. Is that the ink?
Yes.
Wow. I'm surprised I knew that, to be honest with you, but I knew that sepia was an ink. What I am going to see is how have these remedies come about? Who found them? Who discovered them?
Dr. Samuel Hahnemann was the founder and did a lot of the research in a lot of these remedies. And he took one part of the ink of the cuttlefish and put it into 100 parts of water, and that is what makes what they call the mother tincture. And then you take one part of that mother tincture and put it into another 100 parts of water, and that makes something called 1X. And then it goes right up through the scale, and it goes through the X's, and then it gets to the C's. Okay, so by the time it gets to the C's, it's been diluted so many times, there's nothing actually left of the real substance.
Wow.
It's just water at that point. And it's the memory of the energy of that one drop of cuttlefish ink.
Just fascinating.
That helps cure you.
Absolutely.
So children at Christmas, children's temper tantrums.
Arsenic.
Always.
No? Is it not? No? Right, okay, just checking.
There's two main remedies. There's two main remedies for children's temper tantrums. No, it's not. That's not appropriate. Chamomilla is a brilliant remedy when they're whiny and they ask for something and then they throw it back at you. Like, want a drink? You give them a drink. Don't want it. I want, I don't know. I want that toy. Give it to them. Don't want it. Throw it back at you. So they're testing you all the time. So they're whiny, but they're spiteful and snappy with it.
Right.
And it's great teething remedy, chamomilla as well. So it's like ugly behaviour. You don't really, you hug them, but you don't really want to, kind of thing, because they could be overtired. It could be anything, Yeah. And the other remedy is pulsatilla. So we talked about pulsatilla for high fatty foods, for feeling over bloated. It's also a great children's remedy for when they are weepy and whiny and very slight sensitive soul. And this is the type of child that when they're whiny or they're going downhill with something, you just want to envelop them. You just like, oh, come here, and they just like, oh, I just want to sit with you for a bit. And so pulsatilla, think of pulsatilla.
Pulsatilla. Thank you.
It's a flower. Yeah.
Love that.
So, yeah. And the other thing, good thing about children is also consider bark flower rescue remedy.
A what?
Which is bark flower, which is in a dropper bottle, but you can get in Boots or somewhere. Right. It's called rescue remedy, and that's a great thing to calm anybody down. So if you're having a panic attack or if you're feeling anxious, children's temper tantrums, anything, if you give them a few drops on the tongue, it calms them down within moments.
Fascinating.
And also impatiens is another bark flower remedy. These are mother tinctures, homeopathic mother tinctures, really. But impatiens is the busy Lizzie flower. But as in the name impatiens, if their child is impatient, or you are impatient, if you want to take some mother tincture on your tongue, try that impatiens.
Wow, Lesley.
Yeah.
Of Lesley Ford, Phoenix Holistic
Health.
I was going to say coaching. I do apologise.
That's all right.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Lesley.
There you are.
So you have a Facebook group we can join as well, correct?
Yes, the Facebook group is Phoenix Mindset Lounge.
Right. Okay.
Where we talk mindsets, we talk law of attraction, we talk coaching, and a little bit of homeopathy.
Nice. So
Yep.
Pulsietta, I've got one question for you. Pulsatilla, right? Pulsatilla. Can I go and buy that from Boots?
Yes, but you can also get it in the kit.
Can you really?
Yes, it's all in there. It's all in there. You've got 18 remedies in here.
Wow.
18 remedies.
And the website again for your kit is phoenixhh.co.uk/homeopathy. Homeopathy. So close. Honestly, Lesley, thank you so much for joining us on the radio show. Much appreciated.
Very welcome.
I hope you get plenty of people into your Facebook group, especially any of our listeners out there. So thank you so much for joining us. Much appreciated. It's that time of year where I would like to say have a fabulous Christmas.
And you too. And your family.
Have a good time. Absolutely. Merry Christmas to you and the entire family. And I love your tree. All right.
Oh, thank you, Cuddy.
Not a problem at all, Lesley. Thank you so much. Wave goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, Lesley. So that was so much information there for you to help you out over the festive season. I thought that was absolutely fascinating. I really did actually genuinely find that fascinating. So there we go. So, and all that Veronica Karan says, and all the pharmacy have all these natural batch remedies. They are fabulous. Brilliant advice, Lesley. Veronica, thank you very much for keeping those comments going. It keeps me alive, Veronica. Very much appreciated. I know we've got Lenka and Jean listening in as well. Right, so we are going to move on now. It is Men's Mental Health radio show, even though 50% of our listeners are ladies. This time of year is such a stressful time of year for so many people. For whatever reasons we can start talking about. And I think one of the conversations that we're going to have right now is why we don't actually ask for help. And I think it's going to be more of a communicator. This is going to be more of a conversation because Tony's going to have his ideas, and I'm going to pitch him with some of my ideas why people don't reach out for help. And I've been thinking about this because me and Tony have been talking about this recently. And I think we've got a lot of solutions here for a lot of people. So let's welcome into the show. It's Tony Gordon, everybody.
Hi, Cuddy. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. Appreciate it.
Not a problem at all. How are you, Tony?
Very good. Thank you.
Good stuff. So you are a coach and a hypnotherapist. I love your sign there. Tony Gordon. Mobile 07581410435. Tony Gordon at changingyourmindlimited.com. I love it. How are you, Tony?
Very good. Thank you. And you?
Absolutely fantastic. Now, we're talking about, and I know that we are in a men's mental health Facebook group as well that we admin, offering help and solutions to gentlemen at this time of year and all year round. But Tony, what are you here for today?
To try and educate people and to get an understanding about why so many people wait so long to get help. And it's both male and female, but predominantly as males that seem, certain age groups that seem to do it longer than others.
Yeah. So, as a hypnotherapist, who do you work with mainly? Who are the people that you work with?
Well, I mostly work with, at the moment, seems to be teenagers or young girls from 15 to about 21, 22. That's predominantly the ones I work with now. But the reason I want to come here today and speak to you about this is because I feel that I keep hearing people talking about a lot of males who have issues, but I don't seem to find them coming to me. Yet I've posted all the time to try and attract it, and they're not coming. And I speak to a lot of other hypnotherapists and therapists and coaches, and we're all in the same position. We all feel there's a lot of people out there that need the help, but they're not to come. An example would be is a friend of mine who's got a mental health group. So I think he set up in Ayrshire, which is a little place in the west coast of Scotland. And he's got 3,400 men coming to it already in the last couple of years. And that's incredible in one small area of all of them who've all had issues of mental health. One aspect or another. Some have been addictions. Some have been through depression, anxiety, stress, work-related things, some things home life. And they're all there. But what they've done amazing is they use physical things to try and get over it. So they help each other once they've come through it, using more like running, exercise things, boot camps, things to help them. But even they said that they didn't reach out to anybody. They got together as a group, started talking within a group, as long as it's private. They don't go anywhere else. It's only kept within that area. Nobody else seems to know about it. And I think that's the bit that really got to me when I kept hearing things like this, is that's one area. Imagine over the whole of the UK, how many people are sitting at home alone and not getting the help.
Yeah. So, Tony, when we do know each other from previous encounters, and which is why I wanted to get you onto the radio show. And I know we did a podcast a long time ago, but it's a fair question that I'd like to ask. Is you had some struggles yourself, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
And I will ask the question then, because that's the reason you're here. Is why did you ask for help soon enough? Could you have asked for help sooner yourself?
I never asked for help at all. That was the problem. I was brought up in a regime that you have all these rules on how you live your life. Got to be strong, got to be the man of the house, got to be the man of the family. As my dad got older, then I become the main one in the family that people would go to then or could go to. Same as we worked and friends I had. And it was people always call me the big man. So it's one of those things, if you got something like that sort of respecting people, it's difficult to actually put yourself out there to anybody to find who you could talk to. Yeah. And I don't know, there's two things with me. One, I didn't really become aware of what was happening to me until it was too late. And secondly, even if I had been aware of it, I probably wouldn't have actually spoken about that time because worried how other people would have thought about it.
Yeah. And do you think that that's one of the reasons why we don't want to talk about it? Now, it's quite hard for people generally to ask for help, isn't it?
Yeah. People feel it's a weakness to ask for help. They feel that they can be looked at totally different by other people. And one of the main things that comes around it is because the stigma. Mental health itself, the name mental health, mental illness, it's people still imagine it being like asylums, people being locked away. You're going to get sectioned if you mention that. You might not get a job, or it could affect you in your own job. So people feel like they feel ashamed. They feel fear of what could happen to them. And that stigma is still around. It's around too long. It's too many things that are actually as an excuse to me. It's not even a reason anymore. People use an excuse to hide behind it because they don't want to admit their feelings to someone else. And that's a big thing that's difficult for people. Is it's not just actually knowing who to talk to. It's not liking to talk to strangers. For example, if you get four ladies sitting on a night out and they have issues, they'll talk to each other. Yeah. But you never get four guys who'll go to a pub every Friday night when they finish work and say, by the way, I was having this downtime this week. I'm not really looking at this, or I put £5 on this week. What am I going to do? You hear it all the time. Ladies, no offense, but I keep hearing it all the time. And I worked with a team of ladies, and that's all kinds you would hear. But guys will never do that. And I wish that I had the know-how and know now that the time when it happened to me, or even more than that, I had the strength and what I thought was being strong and pride turned out to be the biggest weight that I had was my own pride. Yeah, pride is one of those deadly kind of mindsets that we have. Is we can't ask for help. Veronica is saying it must feel so frustrating. Many have been conditioned. Those sayings, quotes, and judgment we all talk to ourselves are opening up. Men need to chat more. They do, Veronica. You are 100% right, Veronica. Men do need to chat more, which is why we've got these fabulous outlets, these radio stations and podcasts. Now, we are going to talk about your podcast as well, Tony, because you've got some fabulous podcasts out there. So talk to you about the podcast. The main one I've got is Break Free from Your Monkey Mind. Very similar, actually. When we met, that was quite an unusual thing. The two have got quite similar names for the podcast for the same reason. And mine came about because of me. It was trying to describe to someone what was happening. Okay, it's one I always feel, I still feel difficult talking about it, but I had a breakdown one day. 8 years of pain. I've been in hospital 9 times a year, 5 major operations up to that point, and my body just was giving up. I was told I couldn't work anymore. I had to give up, and it was just one of those things. I was mentally down a different way about. I wasn't going to give up work. But then I went into a consultant's office. He said, we need to sit down to see what's going to happen. And they told me that I was inoperable. They can't operate more. They're causing more damage than good. So they said they can't deal with the pain because it's damaged nerve. You'll have to deal with yourself, but we'll get somebody to help you to manage it. And they also told me the same time as if it was flippant. Oh, by the way, did you get any more further on about the cancer? And at that point, nobody actually told me I had cancer. It was 3 months before my biopsy. And that's why I think everyone built up, because they treat it as like an add-on comment, is the oncologist being in touch, what's going to happen. And I'm sitting there going, but a minute, no one's actually told me I've got cancer. But my operation was 3 months before. They did the biopsy because they found a lump when they went to do something else.
Yeah.
Cut it out. And luckily for me, I did a little operation later on that year. It's all been cut out and it's contained, as they put it. It's there, but it's not moving or spreading anywhere. So long as it doesn't spread, it's okay. But my mind at that time was going, wait a minute, 1 minute I'm told I'm inoperable, and then I told I've got cancer. I didn't know how to cope. So all the pain, everything, I went to get into a car, without shot my wife. I remember putting the bags in the car, sat in the car, and I broke down. And it was like a little kid. I wasn't crying, I was sobbing. I remember hearing the noises, not actually knowing it was me, as if it was somebody else that was in the cab with us that was doing it.
Yeah.
As if I was outside myself. It was really weird sensation. We got home. I'm always a nurse, but she'd never seen me like that. She'd never seen me with any sort of sign of weakness, I suppose. And I locked myself in the room. That's now my office. I locked myself in here for about 3 or 4 hours. I don't even know what I thought about it then. I can't remember everything about that day.
Yeah.
And I saw people after told me it's a selective amnesia. It'll come back sometime. But all the thoughts that were through my head was that I need to get help. But where do I go? So, usual guy, next morning I woke up and went, I'm all right now. So I went to work on the Monday. It was a Sunday. I went to work on the Monday. And luckily, somebody in my work, I was a mental health first aider, so I was used to helping everybody else. And somebody came to me and said, your eyes are horrific. And I was like, what's the matter? And she went, no, they're black. It's as if you've no soul. You're just totally black. You need to go and sit down somewhere and go and speak to someone. So I started the process of speaking to a counsellor who was very good and very honest. I did a couple of sessions with her and she told me she couldn't help me. She said I was better analyse myself than she was. I needed something different. And that's when I started this journey, to find something that could help me just to deal with the pain and deal with what I was getting told. Yeah. And that's when hypnotherapy came in. I've coached for over 20 years, but I'd never done anything like this. So I went into hypnotherapy only to help me. But once I realised that they told me I wasn't going to work again, I probably wouldn't walk right again, all these things they gave me, and yet the hypnotherapy allowed me to do that. So I wanted to do that for other people. And that's why I started this journey and learning, like yourself, so many great people I've met over the last couple of years who do things like Lesley's just been on, which was amazing to listen to. Yeah. All these people do things that's not in the mainstream medicalisation, so they don't hear about them. Yeah. And yet they're so much more powerful and helping somebody like me who Western medicalisation has told me, I'm going to scrap heat because we can't help you. We'll manage it, but we can't do anything else. Yeah. And yet people like you and them and Les and other people have all helped me to get where I am today.
Yeah. Yeah. So this time of year, Tony, how are you reaching out, and what do you believe the reason is? Going deeper into the reason why men don't want to ask for help. What is it that's really stopping them moving forward? What other reasons could there be?
There's loads of ones. Feeling inadequate is one of the biggest ones that men will not admit, and I admitted that at the time. I felt that totally inadequate. I felt like a failure. I said I felt ashamed. I was angry at myself for crying. It sounds a stupid thing now when I look back on it, but I was so angry at myself for letting that emotion overtake me. The distrust of people. I went to see the doctor, and as probably everybody else in this situation can say, Lesley mentioned it in her situation. They listen to you for 5 or 6 minutes, and you're pulling your hair out to them, and then they go and starts writing a wee bit of paper. And I said, "What are you writing?" And I thought he was actually writing doing something ghost, a referral. And I went, "What is it then that you got to put down about me?" And he went, "Well, I'm getting some antidepressants." And I went, "Do you think I'm depressed?" And he went, "Well, you had that episode." I went, "Yeah, for 1 day, but that depression is 2 weeks minimum. I've checked into what it is. I'm not depressed. I might have been anxious about it because what the news I got, but I'm not depressed." I said, "But I need help with the chronic pain, but I also need help to understand the diagnosis I've just been given. And do you think some pills are going to do that?" And he was taken aback, and he just said, "No one's said that to me before." I said, "Surely there must be other people. I'm the only one that's come in here and said, those little pills are going to suppress me, but they're not going to help me. So why would I take that? You've just told me if I do this, I'm not going to work. It's no use to me. So I've got a family to look after as well." So that's the thing that got me is I went in there feeling angry, feeling inadequate, feeling all these emotions. But because of the situation I was in, and something took over me and said, "No, I'm not going to deal with it. I want to find another way." And that's the thing I think for most guys don't have. I was lucky I'd done some work on it before I seen that GP. And I talked to some people who told me there was alternative things to look at. I'm not saying any of them would work for everybody. Some didn't work for me. But what it did do was allow me to realise that there's more things out there than sitting in an office and getting that wee piece of paper and sitting for the next 2 to 3 years on medication that's not actually curing anything. All it's doing is suppressing. And I think a lot of guys know that and say, well, why do I need a pill to do that? I'll just work on it myself. I'll just batter through. And they keep having this thing that they can batter through. And I call it the brick wall. You think you're a wall in your house, you've got paint on it, maybe 2 or 3 layers, they'll break through that. The amount of wallpaper, they'll break through that. Then you get the gyprock, it's a bit harder, but they'll get through it. But then they come up against a brick wall and they hit the wall and they're like, well, what do I do now? So you can't get through it. I'll find a way to get under it, round it, over it. They'll try anything rather than face it. Face the problems in front of us. I can't get through that wall. And what they have to learn to do is to break down the wall rather than trying to get through it. Break it down brick by brick and then build yourself back up that way, but with better ways of dealing with things. And now, well, that wall to me is all the rules. It's a bit like Veronica's mentioned when she said about the conditioning. We at a certain age group, which is the worst age group for us, is over 40s, are brought up with a thing that man up, just get on with it, just get do it yourself. You'll be all right tomorrow. You're just having a bad day. All these things were told to us and brought up when we were younger that you have to be strong. You can deal with these. Boys don't cry. Boys don't play with dolls. Boys don't do it. Everyone's boys don't do. But they never actually said us what the boys do when something like this happens. What happens when you don't feel right? When you have that bad day, what should I do? You get told what not to do, but never what to do. And that's the education that they need.
Do you know what? I also want to comment on this as well. And this is definitely from my point of view on this one is I didn't know I was depressed. I didn't know what was going on with me. I didn't know what depression was. I didn't know what anxiety was. And I was 33, 34. And it was that's why I got into Monkey Mind. That's the whole premise of that. Because you read a book and I'm like, oh, that's exactly what was going on with me. And I do remember going to the doctors and the doctors said, oh, here's the phone number for the Samaritans. I'm like, no, I'm not said I want to commit suicide. I'm not in any way whatsoever. I said, I've just got this that goes on. I can't get out of here. I'm completely locked up here. I feel like I've got this pressure against my chest, like I can't breathe, and it's just becoming suffocating. I got so panicky about it. I got stuck in this what-if spiral of, well, what if this, what if this, what if this? Sending me on a dark, and I couldn't get out of it. I mean, there was times I couldn't even have conversations with my wife. I was so locked up in here. And my wife just kept saying, what's wrong? Nothing, fine. And I think that's that universal code. And it's something that piques my interest now. I say, you're right. Yeah, I'm fine. That's like the universal sign for you're not fine. Yeah. And it's not as hard. So you think you have some beliefs of why men don't reach out. I believe it's because a lot of the time they don't realize they can reach out. I believe a lot of them don't realize there's anything wrong, and they don't understand the difference between normal cognitive thinking and unhappy, worried, depressed state. I think there's still a stigma on what depression is. Like it's something that you catch, it's something that you have for the rest of your life. And we're like, no, you're just in a depressed state. You're in an emotional state, which is based around depression. You're thinking something, and I probably quoted this before, but it's just something that I always think such a valuable thing for any of our listeners is, and it was Eckhart Tolle, and it was, if you are depressed, you're thinking about the past. If you're anxious, you're thinking about the future. And the only thing you've got control over is now.
Is now, yeah. And that's, we don't know that. Monkey mind. That's what both you and me like is the monkey mind. Yeah. That's what it's all about. It's a Buddhist way of looking at how we should look at things. If we only look in this moment, we cannot worry. We cannot be angry. We can't be angry about what's happened in the past. We can't worry about the future. If you live in the moment, that's the best way, the calmest way for you to be to move on with your life. And that's the way I'm trying to get people to do that.
And I was thinking about this and definitely wanted to chat to you about it, Tony, is I see so many people writing inspirational quotes and so many people preaching the good word. And I'm just like, it is too much. A lot of people are just preaching it because they want it to feel it. And it's like, you're not. Yeah. And it causes that frustration with everybody else. Is like, well, why are they all posting happy stuff and I can't be happy? So you get stuck with this ping pong, like a ping pong machine of thoughts. And that's what crashes us down. It overcompounds the brain that is the computer and gives us the anxiety and the depression.
That's a great way of looking at it. As I say, people is look at a computer or you look at a mobile phone. You fill it with apps or you fill your computer up with too much information. The computer just stops. People say freeze, whatever, it stops. Sometimes you've got to do is clear it all and then start again and let it build up. So you've got to clear the memory, clear the caching, it's called, clear whatever your memories in here is. That's the same as what you do with your mind. If you get too much thoughts or too much things going on in your mind, simple little exercises like writing things down, journaling, a lot of people do, even doing things called a brain dump, where you can actually just let there, don't look at spelling, don't look at any sentences, paragraphs, and just to everything out your mind, everything that comes into your head, write it down. Because a lot of those thoughts, we have between 10 and 60,000 thoughts a day.
Yeah.
Our brains can't cope with that. So they do a thing about deletion, generalization of that. And that just means that we've got certain ones that come through that we'll deal with. But we're attuned, and conditioned is a great word to say to Veronica, that we deal with the negative ones first of all, and we don't look at the positives. But see, when you clear the negative ones away, and someone who's been suffering, you're right what you said there, when you learn how to deal with that, so that you learn that it's not a badge, it's not a label you need to keep. You do depression, you don't have depression. It's something you do, you need to deal with at that time. If people can learn to do that, it's amazing how many good things that they've actually forgot about in the past suddenly come through. Because it's like a kettle. If you've got a kettle with something that's blocking the spout all the time, it boils up and boils up and boils up. Eventually it'll explode unless you release that part, the stopper on it. If you do that with your mind periodically, you'll clear out all these things. And that's why you see a lot of people saying journaling now is a big thing for people. A lot of guys say to me, when I say to them, I don't really do that, then it's amazing if they look at another way. Write 3 things down at the end of each day that you've overcame that day then.
Yeah.
So it might be something you've done, but something you've overcame. It doesn't have to be for gratitude then, but just the fact you've overcame it. And see the next day when you look back at those 3 things, you'll be amazed at what you've actually achieved. What you say to yourself at the beginning of the day, I can't do that, and then you've actually done it. And it's simple little things that people can start to do. What you said about stopping the thoughts that's coming in, always being the negative ones, and looking and saying, okay, how can we deal with it and what should we do different? You mentioned a really good thing a minute ago about the Samaritans and how people's attitude towards it is. They think the Samaritans is there for someone who wants to take their own life. So you put them on to talk to them. It's not what it's for. The Samaritans want them a lot earlier than that. They say the problem is because they've always known about helping in that situation, Samaritans are not counsellors. They're not qualified to actually deal with that side of it. What they would do is get you onto someone who can help. What they're brilliant at is being ordinary people who have been maybe through these situations or understand these situations, and they can help you with getting you in the right place to go or the right advice. Yeah. And that's what's amazing about them is if you start feeling these kind of thoughts and not sure where to go, talk to Samaritans. They'll put you onto the right place. People like Cam's enough, although don't start to 5. Samaritans is 24 hours a day. Cam's an amazing one as well that people only think's for men, but anybody can use it. From 5 o'clock to a minute, you use that, and it's an amazing service as well.
Yeah. So it's funny that you were saying you've been working mainly with ladies recently. I have to, and I would like to commend a lot of people. My clients have been guys. My last 3 gentlemen have been guys. I know we talk about these things and stuff like that. So I was dealing with a gentleman with OCD, one with overthinking, and another one was stress and overwhelm. So it's absolutely fantastic to see. And I do commend the guys, and anyone who's listening to the show or anyone who gets recommended things like that, I do commend anybody that wants to work on their mental health and mind management. And there's a reason I've said mind management, because I'm going to be plugging the mind management course in a few more minutes time. So, Tony, you are actually based in East Kilbride, is that right?
My home's East Kilbride. My office is Glasgow. So I work on Zoom from home, and then face-to-face my clients I see in Glasgow on West George Street. It's right in the centre of town, but 3 minutes walk from either Glasgow Central Station or from Queen Street Station.
George Street, is that
West George Street?
Is that where they've just filmed the Flash movie?
Oh, I don't know. I've not seen that yet, so I'm not sure if it's been there. But
I'm sure there was some filming for the Flash movie, because they do Glasgow as the New York setting, don't they? Yeah,
but that could be West George Street. Yeah, because the buildings on that do look a lot like that. Yeah, mine's especially one of the older buildings that's there. It's an amazing place, but it's the thing that you said that it's amazing that maybe plug your side for you as well. That what I love about what you're doing is the dipping side that you do as well. For getting men to come out and do that, but to do it, because the place I just spoke about, or the group I spoke about earlier in Ayrshire in Scotland, they've also got a group like that do dipping. I only found that out today. They've got the same arranging one for this weekend. And that was something it's amazing at getting guys like, it's a great one. That's brilliant that you're doing that. So thank you for that, because it's helping men, and you're right, open up to you and getting them. I seem to be more attracted more. The age group I said is a worrying side thing for me with that as well, but not asking for help. These are 3 young girls that never knew how to ask for help properly and suffered for years. And all of them have been in either suicidal thoughts or attempted suicide. And one of the stats that got me, you mentioned about guys in it, there's more ladies diagnosed with depression, anxiety and stress than men. But the reason being is because the men don't get the help. So the men actually, the higher death rate will come from suicide, especially 45 to 49-year-olds is the highest in the UK. 3/4 of all suicides every year in the UK are male because they don't ask for that help.
Yeah.
But the fastest growing one is actually 10 to 24-year-old girls since 2012 to now. So even though it's mostly males, I would love to go forward. Anybody at all who feels out of sorts, feels like you said earlier, you might not even realise you've got the issue, you just know something doesn't feel right. If everybody else is talking a certain way, you're different. You don't go out with friends as much as you used to do. You don't go on social media as much, or things you see on it, like you mentioned about the positivity. A lot of them say it bothers them when they see all that because they can't feel that way. If you feel any of these signs, reach out to someone, whether it be a family member, a work colleague, a friend, a GP, a therapist, coach like us. Reach out to someone, especially at this time of year. Do not wait till Christmas Day when you're sitting there all by yourself and everything seems to hit you. Get the help now so you can enjoy it when it comes near Christmas. You can start enjoying that. Is find somebody now to speak to and reach out to them. But don't ever sit alone like I did. I had a family and I didn't go to anybody. I sat alone all the time and tried to deal with it. And I know now I was totally wrong.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Tony, thank you so much. Much appreciated. Love it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
It's
a brilliant show you've got here, so well done for that.
Thank you very much. I'm Cena's listening. Cena be like, yes. Cena's the production manager. Absolutely fantastic. Well, thank you very much. And I will be talking about dipping as I close out the show because we've got 4 minutes left. Thank you so much, Tony. Much appreciated. See you around. There was Tony, everybody. If anybody wants to reach out, it's such an important part. I am in the Scotland area, and I have 100%. In fact, I'm going to show you a flyer here as well. It's an important flyer as well. And it's called #Andy's Man Club. And it's the groups. This is in the Five Shire area in Scotland. And it's called Join, and it's called It's Okay to Talk, gentlemen. It's okay to talk. So Andy's Man Club. This is the radio show that I'm going to be presenting this from. But all the information there on the socials, if you want to get in contact with this team as well, #Andy's Man Club, in case you need to chat out. Again, we're wanting to give you all this information. And Veronica, that is amazing. She says she's actually getting through to her son. It's overwhelming, but fabulous finally. And Veronica, working with your son would be an absolute pleasure, either for myself or Tony or anybody, by the way. And you enjoyed Tony's bit. Good stuff. That's what it's all about. It is. So you are always more than welcome to get in contact by joining the Facebook group, monkeymindrelaxation.com, or the website, monkeymindrelaxation.com. You are always more than welcome to. Look, this is the last show of 2021. I'd start thinking. If anybody's in the Fife area in Leven, you want to go for a dip, I will be dipping at 9 o'clock on Saturday morning, and it's a men's mental health Facebook group. And you're always more than welcome to come down for a chat there as well, giving you that space to be able to talk in a non-judgmental way. Non-judgmental way is such an important paramount way to talk. It really is. You get given the space to talk and say, I've had a bad week, I had some good days, bad days. I still have good days and bad days. I just don't sit with them like I used to, which was for weeks, months. It was absolutely atrocious. So you are more than welcome to reach out. That is what we're here for. It's been another fantastic show. Now, I am a mind management coach, and I've been helping people for the past 18 months with. Oh, thank you so much, Veronica. Have a fabulous time. I want to say thank you to Lenka for joining the show, and Jane and Lesley and Tony, all being part of this fabulous radio show that we present for you. Now, if anybody is interested, by joining the Facebook, there is a mind management 6-week course available for you. That's a mind management 6-week live coaching course. And we are going to give you the strategies, and we're going to show you how to manage your emotions, manage your mindset to actually wake up and be more positive and keep that positivity going all day, but real positivity, not fake smiling. Genuinely how you can control your emotional state, your mindset, manage your mind, and get past anxious situations, depression, all in a 6 weeks live coaching course with myself. That's in Monkey Mind Relaxation. And you are more than welcome to get in contact if you would like to work one-on-one. I believe we've got 15 seconds left, so I'm now going to finish off by saying Merry Christmas, everybody. Have a fantastic new year. We will see you with some more guests in 2022. And you know what? As always, big love from Cuddy. Thank you very much.